And then as they were talking about casting, Jason also suggested me for the part because Jason clearly has no imagination whatsoever. Always has me and everything. So that was how it came to me. Jason sent me the script, the feature and the short, and I fell in love with it. And dude, I wish I could tell you. I auditioned for him for his first movie, for Thank You for Smoking, and he was foolish enough to hire me then, and we had a great time. We have this sort of weird, sort of backwards relationship because I'm about as old as his dad, Ivan Reitman, who people may have heard of. But Jason is like sort of my show business movie mentor, in an odd way. And he handed me, he joined my poker game shortly after we shot that movie, and one night at the card game, he handed me the script for Juno, and he said, you should check this out. This is really good, But he didn't say anything about, wanting me to play that part. And I read that script, and I was like, oh my God, this part. Oh, this is like, one of the best roles I've ever read. But he didn't say he wanted me to look at it. So I'm thinking, maybe the guy in the drugstore in the first scene. And finally, his producing partner at the time, Dan Dubecki, called me and goes, how'd you like the script? And blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, Jason wants you to play. Back it up.
Most movies. But yeah, no, I was up in Chicago and I was filming, and my agent, I guess, had sent me the script. A couple weeks before I had gotten around to it, and basically she was saying, the director, you're his choice for this movie. He's offering you this part, but you have to kind of decide now, or they're going to move on. And so I read it, and I was like, oh man, I love this. I play the drums, and after reading it, it truly just like everything that you see on the screen, Damien writes that. Like his stage directions, he writes entire pages of just stage directions, and it's like, the drumming begins to swell, the tempo goes faster and faster, the sweat and the blood is crashing on the cymbals, crash, crash, crash. The energy, and it's just like, it was so funny at our table read, the woman who was reading stage directions was like gasping for air. She's like transfixed, and we're just like, but so then I read it and I absolutely loved it, and I was just hoping I would have some time off because Divergent was kind of a string of, I had done like 5 films back to back, and I was kind of dead inside. And I was like, joke on this interview that happened, but yeah. So and then she said, well, if the movie starts in like 5 weeks, and pretty much as soon as you get back, you'll start jazz drumming lessons and all that stuff. So I got into it pretty quick, and then Damien, basically told me that I would be the one playing, Whiplash and Caravan and the drum solo, and so he gave me that music, and then we were very specific on, okay, I need you to have these first 16 bars memorized. I need you to have this fill down. I need you to have this part of the solo down. So we really kind of went in there. And Damien was just he's so meticulous, and he's so precise, and we didn't shoot any fluff, we didn't have time to, but he literally would just be like, no, these 2 lines from this angle, good. Okay, I just need this bar of music from, horns, got it, good, and just moving on. And I remember thinking, like, this dude doesn't know what he's doing. Like, either this guy knows exactly what he's doing, or he's not getting enough, we're not getting enough footage here. Damien will tell you he doesn't want to get footage, he doesn't want that. He's very specific, and it was really
years ago. It was a leap of faith for me. I've really enjoyed working with. Basically everybody's young at this point. Reitman was whatever, 27, 28 when I first worked with him. But yeah, it's a leap of faith, and I obviously knew that he had put down a beautiful, beautiful screenplay, and that he had that talent. But I hadn't really seen any of his work, and I didn't know him. We talked, we met. I felt like I was pitching myself. I don't know if he felt like he was.
I thought it was the other way around.
Pitching, yeah. So it was one of those, where we were, preaching to the choir, both of us, I guess. But yeah, it was just a leap of faith. And when we did the short, I thought, wow, this guy really does know what he's doing. And then it seemed like, to me, and I've never said this to Boy Wonder at all, but in the year between doing the short and doing the feature, he grew, significantly from them. And I think a lot of it was just self-confidence that maybe I tried to beat that out of him on the short. Apparently, all the time.
Staring at you, breathing on you,
You can.
sweating on you,
It was.
my little bitch.
It was bullshit. It was just goofing around like a couple of dinkuses, which we are. We are.
Yeah, no, we are. Come up after one of the times, I think there's a smile in there somewhere because I couldn't keep a straight face. It's just so absurd. It's been like, one minute we're talking, his old like New York theater days, and the next thing he's like slapping me in the face and yelling at me and stuff. So it's pretty funny, but no, thank God JK was not, kind of in character the whole time, and I felt okay to where I could kind of get into that character's skin and understand the scene, and then as soon as it was done, just kind of laugh at the whole thing. Because it's crazy when he's beating the cowbell in my ear, faster, louder. It's like throwing cymbals and stuff. It's like,
You thought this shit was funny?
Yeah, certainly we've spoken to, the time constraints and all that. The editing was also, this was such an editing heavy movie that, it's you could spend 6 months just on the last scene in terms of, and we finished shooting in kind of second week of October, and so I had to get it, ready for January. So there was not, kind of the whole process there never felt like enough time to do anything. And I remember actually being really frustrated during the making of it, as one would be, just sort of, we'd fight for extra days, we'd fight for extra, we fought for extra editing time, we fought for everything we could, trying to show Sundance as late as they would possibly allow the selection committee to see it. So everything was kind of, fighting for that extra nugget, but, looking back, I think that, and this might just be my own sort of rosy memory of it, but I think that the sheer speed of it actually probably helped, there's some movies that I think benefit from really being sort of toyed and thought and rethought and rethought over, and this is actually, I think, not one of them. In terms of the actual making of it, it kind of had to sort of come from the gut and come quickly, and so there's a certain energy that all of us sort of had on set that I think bled into the movie, and certainly, I don't know, Miles could probably speak to this, but he's playing a kid who's not getting enough sleep, who's not getting enough sunlight, who's not getting enough nutrition, and who's, drumming, pushing his body past what's physically healthy, and that's probably not too dissimilar from how you were on set in actuality.
yeah, it's true. I mean, that's pretty true. All of that. The final week, I think we were doing, it's like 16, 17-hour days pretty much every day. And the last scene of the movie that we shot, and I was talking to JK about this because he looks so relaxed in the scenes, because it's literally 6 a.m. and we're just both dog shit tired. I remember him even saying, like, I don't even give a fuck. Let's just let's just film this thing. And it was, it's this scene where I come in and I haven't realized I lost my drumsticks yet, and I'm like, that's my part, I earned it. He's like, no, you don't, if you're not back here at whatever time you're done. And I turn my pages, bitch, but when I walk in, JK's just he's got the vanity lights behind him, and he just looks so at peace. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. What you see, Damien had this movie edited and everything completely done in 10 weeks, and so it's just really like an insane. This guy's just like a wizard.
And now that everybody knows that, you're never going to get a budget. Well, we like shooting in 90 days. Editing 2 months.
Well, Columbus said that they do now, and that's even Helen said when they do movies, they're like, oh no,
The new
we
business
shot it in
model.
19 days, and
Right,
we don't-
that's too, this movie will be used to subjugate other filmmakers. So,
Like a Neil Simon play in that way, where it's like, just hold for the laugh, but why are you still talking?
Simmons Miles